Recording has started. All right,
Awesome.
there's Con. Is Con with us? Con is here. All right, sweet. I'm going to pop this out, I think, because it'll be a lot easier for me. There we go. And now I can read the chat and be a dickhead.
Sick.
Epic. Nice. Okay, let's take a picture of this.
Can I pop this out? Oh, it does. I can do it. Yay.
Oh my god! He jizzed in his pants. And it's on recording.
No, I don't know about that one.
Ha! Yeah, no, it is. I have it recorded.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Sweet. Well, I guess I'll just go ahead and get us started.
Yep, that's pretty much how it is.
We'll show up as they show up, I guess. So,
Yep.
yeah. Welcome to the first TC staff cast. This is kind of just a dry run to see how some things go. Kind of lay out the structure of the podcast. But we're gonna talk about some different things, different topics, and hopefully you guys find it interesting, entertaining. My name, as always, I'm Mortal, and we've got our lovely Egg here
Egg.
joining me.
I am Egg. I am the Egg. The one and only Egg.
Awesome.
You can also find me out as Edgy Saint, but, you know, we don't call people that. That's just weird.
Yeah, that's super edgy. All right, so tech. I wanted to talk tech, and that's something that's always been really, really important to me. Been a big influence in my life, and I wanted to start with some innovations in handheld gaming. Saint, did you ever have like a handheld of any kind? Game Boy Advance?
Yeah, like the first ever thing that I had that got me into gaming was actually the original gray Game Boy.
That's sick. Okay, I had the Game Boy Color. Actually, that was my first gaming console. Not to stray from the topic, but we started. Yeah, I started with the Game Boy Color. It was the purple one, and I remember just this weird obsession with taking it to school, and I thought it was super cool that you could have like a pocketable experience that was kind of like a console. So, handheld game consoles really came around around 1989, I guess, was the first original Game Boy. Before that, there was actually this one called the Milton Bradley Microvision, 1979. But Nintendo pretty much capitalized on everything that they fell short on and really popularized the idea of a handheld console.
So, sorry, just to interject. Does this like, and you're talking about really advanced handhelds? Does the Game and Watch not come to mind in this case, or is that just like one of those older ones that don't necessarily count?
Well, so the Game and Watch, when was the Game and Watch? That's a good question.
Because that
It
was
was by Nintendo, right?
I'm actually not certain, but I think they had a part in it. Yes. Because the thing about Nintendo is they're well, no, they are, they're over 100 years old, aren't they, as a company. But
Right.
the Mr. Game and Watch, to me, like, I was actually astounded to find out, like, because I learned about him in Smash Bros, for example. That's my introduction to Game and Watch. Finding out about this thing, it was like that old pinball thing, you know, the plastic one where the ball, you can move it around and balance it, and you can find that. That's the level. That's a comparison in technology for the Mr. Game and Watch into the first even Game Boy. That's how I feel about it. So that's why I was wondering if you would count it.
Got it. So for me, the Game and Watch, I don't know. That was like a portable game, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the Mr. Game and Watch was one game, and so you turn it on and you play it, and it's a game. It was a great game for its time, and it was definitely a mobile game, if not one of the most honest, original interpretations of what a mobile game could be, considered as.
Yeah.
Right? We're
Yeah.
talking about way before smartphones and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, it's not really a console, and the reason would be that you only have the one game as an option. The
It's
Game
true.
Boy really implemented the idea of choice.
Very
You
good
know,
point.
I
Yeah.
have this unit which I can substitute out game cartridges and play tons of different games, hundreds of them. And so I think that's where really the idea of a mobile console or a handheld console came from. Not that the Game and Watch wasn't mobile, but it wasn't a console in that same way where you could have, choice or interchangeability. Um, with that said, kind of what I wanted to talk about was some modern day advances in that space. And it really kind of hit home for me when I saw the recent announcement of the Steam Deck. Steam Deck, yeah, super cool tech. And the idea behind it really is to shrink down, the form factor of a computer, a PC, into something that's not necessarily pocketable, but insanely more portable, insanely more user friendly from a gaming perspective than, say, a gaming laptop.
See,
And so,
I'm gonna have to Google this while you're talking, but
yeah, go for it.
I'm actually not certain what a Steam Deck is.
Yeah. So let me kind of give you the idea while you're looking it up. Basically, you have a handheld gaming console, but in the hardware side of it, it's literally just a gaming PC.
Hmm.
It's running a hybrid version of Linux, and you have all the normal things you'd have on a handheld these days. You've got triggers, you've got analog sticks. It introduces a touchpad area on each side of the screen, which is kind of a cool idea. Steam kind of experimented with this idea with their Steam controller that unfortunately kind of failed miserably, but really I think led the way for making a better implementation of how touch could be, used for gaming. And so it's got two touchpads, one on the left, one on the right. It's got buttons behind where you hold the actual physical controller, kind of like one of those fancy SCUF gaming controllers.
Yeah.
It's got two touch-sensitive joysticks, your normal A, B, X, Y configuration, and then you've got a D-pad.
So from a dum-dum like me, this really just seems like a more advanced Switch that has a like.
Kinda, yeah.
I think it's
Yeah,
pretty cool.
and so it comes in a couple different configurations, and the thing that I was really looking at was like, how does this compare to a Switch? What's the idea here? Or what kind of market are they looking to capitalize on? And so the base unit starts out at like $400. Looks like it comes with a carrying case and 64 gigabytes of memory on board. And I'm sure you can do the math. I can do the math as
That's
well.
pretty big.
64 gigabytes is, well, I was actually thinking the opposite. Like 64 gigabytes is kind of tiny when you're talking about how, like, Call of Duty, for example. How many gigabytes does that game take these days? Like 200 gigabytes?
Oh shit! Yeah, good point.
So, I'm not sure whether the high speed, memory developing, on the the SD card side of things is going to be keeping up with this. But it seems like $400 for 64 gigabytes, like they must be offering something more substantial, right? To justify, $100 more expensive, but you're getting, less memory, it looks like, than a typical Nintendo Switch. All right, is that right? I'm not even familiar
Switch.
with typical Nintendo Switch memories these days. 1 terabyte SD cards do exist.
Yeah. But for the Steam Deck, how much memory does 32 gigs of internal?
Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
almost double.
So double, yeah. Okay. But yeah, so this technology kind of really interested me. Also, I forgot to mention that it is a touchscreen implementation as well. So you've got a bunch of different control input methods. So they're kind of covering all the bases here, with the analog sticks, D-pad, touchpads, touchscreen. You've got all of the different input methods. One thing that I thought was really interesting was the implementation of touch-sensitive joysticks. So, like, it can tell when you push your thumb on the joystick, and so they have this like implementation of a gyro movement system, to where, like, if you're holding your thumb on the joystick, like, it senses it, and then you can move the console itself in your hands to do like fine aim adjustments.
So Okay, so all those people that are playing old like car driving games or racing games, I should call them because that's what they're actually called. When they tilt the actual controller, it would work for them instead of
Yeah,
how it
yeah,
wasn't in the past. That's kind of cool.
yeah. No, you could use it for that. One of the implementations that they highlighted was like first person shooter games, for example, where joysticks are kind of fumbly when you're talking about aiming. Uh, and so a lot of the times controller players don't really feel like they're as accurate or as able to be accurate as like say a mouse and keyboard implementation.
Yeah.
This kind of bridges that gap by you kind of get in the general area by using the joystick as you normally would, moving the camera with like big sweeping motions,
It feels
and
more
then
fluid.
right, and then you kind of just rest your thumb on the joystick and you move the console like the little bit the rest of the way to get like the really fine like small aiming.
I can.
So like it kind of if it kind of makes sense, like you are using two forms of motion to like accomplish the same goal, but it's much more fluid than like using just one.
Hmm. So you okay? I'm kind of curious though what because going back to the memory thing, I'm kind of curious what kind of games will really be on this. So do I'm expecting a type of mobile game, but this is implying that you're going to be getting your Steam library as well.
Yeah, no. So that like with the custom implementation of Linux, they're going to be rolling out this Steam IO, which is basically just going to be a reskin version of like the Steam store natively. So you're talking full Steam library, basically completely mobile, on a handheld.
Well, I definitely would want one of these. I might front the 400 right now.
Yeah, I mean they seem really cool. One of the things that I thought was also super interesting, they partnered with AMD and they created what's called an APU, which is basically where you have a CPU and a graphics processor in the same chip. And so it shares Zen 2 CPU cores and RDNA 2 cores for the GPU between all of them sharing the same bandwidth. So it's actually the first time this technology has been implemented. It's a really new technology where Zen 2 architecture combines with RDNA 2 architecture to basically send information much quicker between the graphics and the CPU processes. So they sharing that same bandwidth can then share information almost like they're connected. Because in this situation obviously they're in the same chip.
So kind of like they're symbiotic, basically.
Yeah, it's just like imagine instead of having a graphics card inside of your computer, it was all just built into your processor, and they wouldn't have to take time to transfer the data between each other. They could just have the same data at the same time.
They are one mind.
Yeah, literally, yeah. That's the idea.
That's
So
actually really cool.
yeah, I thought that was really cool. It definitely I'm looking forward to seeing how it's going to impact the performance, because I know that's been one big thing that's like, well, you're talking about full blown PC games, so
Yeah.
what are we going to look at as far as performance on this?
Well, that's kind of why I was curious about the memory thing earlier. Like you were speaking Japanese to me there a second ago. By the way, you could say everything about it, and I'll be like, yeah, that sounds, yeah, it runs on electricity. That's kind of cool. But no, I was kind of interested because, it, well, growing up, really, like it's about how I feel towards handhelds. I still have my Game Boy Advance, but I miss playing on it, if that makes sense. So having
Yeah.
something like this tied to the games that I do frequent and having it on a handheld where I'm out on the bus, probably not on the bus, but like when I'm on break or something, blah, 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 you'd figure out a way to use it.
On
But
the bus.
on the bus, well, I mean,
But no, but that's real. Like that's real life. Like buses, trains. Like this is something that you
exactly.
could take, in a bag with you, to work or to school, and pull it out, play a couple games, on the way back or whatever. And it's not too intrusive to life. I think that they definitely got like the size right. I don't think it's too big, but I don't think it's too small either.
Yep.
I know that they did a lot of the sizing was based around thermals because obviously for PC gamers that's a pretty big
Yeah.
like deal, right? Temperatures.
Absolutely.
Um, but I actually no, I saw some recent tests. I think from Linus Tech Tips was who it was from, but they were looking at thermals and compared to, I believe it was another company that's currently on Kickstarter that's offering something similar to this. Their thermals were probably like I would say 25% better than the comparative like solution from that other company on Kickstarter, and it was all based on how big they made like the handles of the console because it turned out that making the console a little bit wider, it was able to isolate more of the heat towards the center of the console and away from your hands, because obviously your hands are going to be the biggest contact point or the only contact point with this console, and so eliminating heat from the hands is probably their biggest priority.
Put a hand cooler, add some ice in there.
Integrated hand cooler.
Yeah.
Now you're stepping into the territory of like those gaming phones where
Damn
they have
right.
like fans on the back and
Yeah.
like crazy stuff.
Yeah, some people I really don't understand like the pro mobile gaming thing. I can't understand it. It's like I have a really good phone to be honest, but if I went out and I got a fan for it, I would seppuku.
Yeah, no, I at the point where you're like so competitive with your mobile gaming that you have to get like a cooler specifically for your phone. I don't know, man. That's just a different level for me. And I mean, you know how I feel about mobile games anyway. Like I just can't do mobile games cuz I to me they all just like kind of you get an hour worth of fun out of them and then it feels like they just kind of devolve into microtransaction hell.
I'm so scared to mention the game that I play on mobile because like I think you know exactly where I'm going with this because it's going
I
on
know it
YouTube.
exactly.
Well, I mean, you say, well, you're gonna get an hour of gameplay out of it. No, Raid Shadow Legends like a full time job.
Oh god. Oh god.
It
Yeah, I've heard that. I've heard that, and I honestly I don't know. I don't know if I'm willing to give mobile gaming a try, just based on.
there there it's interesting because there's we're gonna go into the gaming topic now to be honest, but like there are games out there that I've been trying out. Like Clash Royale, for example, I really like card games. I like strategy. I like that sort of thing. And the mobile game scene really has hit that far more than any game that I've seen on Steam. Um,
That's interesting.
Blizzard's Hearthstone, for example, I really enjoy Hearthstone, but I had it on my phone. I played it on my phone. I didn't log into my Blizzard net on my PC. So if I was doing something on my PC, I'd use my phone to play Hearthstone. Like that's basically it. So it's stuff like that that I really enjoy having mobile gaming and that large scene and that dedication from developers in it to have that sort of stuff available. So other games like Raid Shadow Legends, it feels like a Hearthstone to me because of how in depth that game is. I can talk for hours about it. I'm gonna not, but um, it's just well, it goes back to the comment I made earlier about Game Boys. It feels nostalgic to have it on your phone for maybe a very tiny reason, but still, it's kind of really nice. So the Steam Deck thing, yeah, I'm definitely gonna save up. I still haven't even bought a Switch, so let's buy the Steam Deck first.
Well, I mean, you can. I mean, you could make the argument that the Steam Deck really does have more applications that you could use it for.
Yeah, well,
Switch obviously being Nintendo,
yeah,
you have the Nintendo game library, which you can't find anywhere else. But at the same time, you have the Steam library, which is huge. It's millions of games, if not billions, I guess at this point.
but you can't get Nintendo on it.
That's true. That's true.
So you're gonna buy your Steam Deck for your Steam games and your Nintendo for your Animal Crossing.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thus, why Nintendo still is doing extremely well.
Yeah, because they're definitely taking over the exclusive scene for sure.
Right. Yeah. If Microsoft or Sony could just pull their heads out for just a minute and figure out how to capture the kind of audience that Nintendo has captured, like with their diehard fans,
Yeah.
they probably would do a lot better, honestly. Because right now, I don't know, maybe it's just me, but it feels like the difference between like PlayStation and Xbox is really just like, what do your friends have? You know, it doesn't really seem like there's any super exclusive games that are like, oh yeah, I want to buy this console just for that.
Well,
At
that's
least not
just
anymore.
that's really it. That's one of the reasons why when I was living on my own, I never bought a console. I had no interest in it. I was like, okay, well, if I'm gonna play games, I'm gonna get a PC. I wasn't playing anything demanding. I didn't really have any interest in any of those big ones when I was out there, so I got I I wouldn't say it's a bad PC, but I got a custom PC that could play games, blah blah blah. And it was a laptop, so I can bring it around. So again, going to the handheld shit or the portable shit, but I lost my train of thought. Anyways, oh yes, the comparison between console and PC. I
Right.
could not stand the thought that I cannot play with my friends if they are on Xbox. But everyone was getting one or the other. They were never like, "Yeah, I got this. Oh, let's all get this." That's not like a conversation people have. So it's like,
Right.
well, I like this game, so I'm gonna get an Xbox, and that's the exclusive game that I want. And then any other game that comes out after it, like that's the platform you're on now. That's the
Yeah, that's
that's
what
the
you get.
that's the hill you chose to die on. I'm like, but it's just it's I I I think you're right. Like if Microsoft and Sony, sorry, not PlayStation. My God, if Sony and Microsoft were able to not necessarily work together, but to figure out how to even work with their communities, because in all honesty, they're lumped together a lot. It doesn't matter
Oh yeah.
what console someone is playing. If you say you have Xbox, people immediately think of PlayStation anyways, depending on the context. But like
Yeah, they're very associative. Like,
exactly. So why the heck wouldn't you be able to play? I guess I know the answer, but still, why the heck wouldn't you be able to play console like you would on PC? Like PC just stands out for me much more than a console does, and thus I'll never front $600 for a console at any point. I'll never do that. But something like
right.
a Steam Deck, the way it's presented, the way you're showing me, I already have all these Steam games that I really like. I'm gonna get the Steam Deck. That
Right.
makes
Not to
sense.
mention, I mean, you can play with all of your friends the same way that you already can on your
Exactly.
PC.
It's innovative
Yeah.
with sparkles and
And for those
confetti.
people, and for those people who don't have like gaming PCs and really want to get into like the Steam gaming kind of platform, the other cool thing I didn't even mention this, but like they're actually going to be producing a dock for it that basically turns it into a full blown PC. Like it'll have a LAN connection, display port connection, so you can hook it up to a monitor, mouse, keyboard, the whole shebang. And it's going to have a powered USB hub, the whole thing. So at that point, I mean, you're talking, starting at what, $400
Yeah.
for a full blown PC. At the max, it maxes out at $650, and that gets you like a 512 gigabyte NVMe SSD. It gets you like this special anti-glare, like etched glass, which
Damn.
is sick. You get the same carrying case. You get a Steam community profile, like a special, like exclusive profile thing, and then you get, I guess, a special theme for like the virtual keyboard.
You're
Not that
talking
that's
you
huge, but
you're talking about pre-ordering one, right?
yeah. If you like
Or
reserve one.
reservation. That's the word. Reservation. It's not pre-ordering, it's reserving.
Yeah, you're paying them to be able to have the opportunity to buy one from them later.
Listen, we're not
Really?
we're not Sony or Microsoft. We don't say pre-order here.
No, yeah, we don't use the word pre-order.
Well,
The
anyway,
GameStop employees in the chat just like their eyes just lit up. They're like, pre-orders? Yes. Pre-order?
oh my God.
You want to pre-order a game?
Are you going to trade it in at some point? I'll give you $10.
Oh my god. Yeah, but no, so it maxes out at 650, and if you're talking about, how to get into the Steam kind of like ecosystem, I think that that's really reasonable when you compare it, to something like a PS5 or an Xbox One or whatever they're called now, Series X.
It
I
absolutely
think
is.
that's pretty reasonable.
I was gonna compare it to the laptop that I mentioned earlier. Like if it plays the games that I am already playing and mayhaps even better than my PC, then like that's even better. I spent I don't think it was that much, but it was almost 1,000. If I'm gonna spend $650 for a Steam Deck and it does the same thing and more, then that's just as good. I think
Right.
I think the problem's going to be, well, for example, in Canada, unlimited internet doesn't exist.
Oh,
Well, I
really?
mean, it's not that it doesn't exist. You have to pay out of your ass to get unlimited, typically. In the States, I
Do you mean
think.
like
Go
you
ahead.
mean like total like usage per month, like
Yes.
for your regular? Okay, yeah. So that doesn't typically exist in the United States either.
Okay.
It's something that you usually have to pay for.
Okay. So I wasn't certain because a lot of the people are like, yeah, I have unlimited internet. I can do whatever the hell I want. In Canada, it's absolutely like you need to front almost almost $120 just to get something even
Oh, that's
relatively
nuts.
close. Yes, in Canada we are shafted up the yin yang, especially in the mobile networks.
Yeah. Oh, so for mobile, so there's a difference. For mobile, unlimited is everywhere. We have unlimited for like included in almost everything for
Yeah,
mobile.
in
So,
in Canada that's not even possible. Like you could well, it's not impossible, but you like I said, it's money, 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 or or uh or you have to sleep with the people that own it. To be honest, but every contract in Canada has something that you are missing that you would want on your phone. That's
oh,
basically how it will always end up. I got
that's not.
I got lucky. Someone thought I was cute when I bought my last phone, so I got some extra stuff, that sort of stuff. But you know, the common
Oh,
casual, like they get like screwed over a lot. Timmy's correct. Like
uh,
it's so expensive. It's like 5 times U.S. prices. Um,
that's nuts.
I wouldn't say
Yeah, because
five times, but it's like really high. It's very
I
very
think
high.
here I have a deal for like two people, unlimited data. I think just like the cost of the plan, like no fees, no taxes, everything included. I think I want to say it's $100 a month with auto pay. Without auto pay, I think it's like $120 a month.
Oh, well, what is auto
For
pay
two
then?
people, auto pay is like where you give them your credit card information and you tell them what day you want them to charge you for the bill every month, and then they just automatically charge you.
So wait, you need to wait. Okay, hold on. you you get a deal where if you use auto pay, it costs less, or am I
Yeah,
misunderstanding?
they discount the cost if you sign up on auto pay.
What the heck? So
Yeah.
that's something here, but that's not at all anything that reduces pricing. What
Well, I mean, it varies by company, right? So each mobile company is a little bit differently. For T-Mobile, that's how it is at
I
least.
as a Canadian, free healthcare. It's not even.
Like we get $5 off a month on our phones.
Pretty much.
Oh man.
I
But yeah,
could
so
go ahead. Sorry.
to kind of wrap up Steam Deck, like, yeah, no, I think that as far as getting into this marketplace, the things that it offers at the price point that it is, I'm definitely interested to see where it goes. Um, I think that there's definitely going to be some struggles for specific people like say Canadians for data and things like that.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's going to have the capability to run off of like mobile data. That'll be something interesting to keep an eye out on.
Well, I honestly, even if I think I'd still buy one, but it's one of those like, oops, I suddenly went over my well, I guess my full data plan, and thus I can't download the game that my friends are now playing.
Got it. Yeah, I believe for that you'd just be able to connect it to your like home Wi-Fi
For
for
sure,
downloading stuff.
for sure.
But I am definitely aware of the fact that like some people don't use home Wi-Fi; they just use mobile data for everything.
Yep.
Which kind of blows my mind that like mobile data is like good enough that you can use it for home Wi-Fi nowadays. But that's completely different topic.
Well, my mobile data, even though it's not unlimited, is more like if I was in the middle of the bush right now and I had my home Wi-Fi and electricity to start it, my mobile data would be more reliable. And
Interesting.
well, I mean in the countryside right now, that's where I am. So like of course I have satellite. So it's not well, I could get fiber soon, but not yet. So I can't say that I have it, blah blah blah.
Right.
Satellite Wi-Fi in the middle of the bush. If I had my phone, it wouldn't slow down at all. It would be reliable. I could text someone, say, "Yeah, I'm kind of lost in the bush. Can you come help me?" And I have to fend off a bear or a couple wolves. But that's just life. Um, Wi-Fi would be like, hold on, Mr. Bear, Facebook is taking forever to load. And I'd get
Got it.
mauled and die, that sort of thing. But
It sounds like the lesson here is always bring a weed whacker. That's
bring the weed whacker. That's right.
awesome. Well, did you? I think you had the next topic that you wanted to kind of
Well,
discuss.
I mean,
I think we touched on it briefly, right?
yeah, we did. It's like, well, speaking of PlayStations and Sony and like Microsoft and all this stuff and consoles, like when we were kids, we had consoles, we had Game Boys and handhelds, all this sort of stuff. We were the generation of innovation. But honestly, like, it's really just how did we get into gaming? And
Got it.
and this typical topic, it's like I don't really have an answer. It's just kind of one day I had a Jersey Devil PlayStation disc, like during Easter. It was the weirdest thing. I was out hunting for chocolate eggs and I found a Jersey Devil PlayStation CD underneath a pillow, freaking out, wondering, well, I don't have a PlayStation. And I find out the other pillow, there's a PlayStation under it. So, like, it's like,
Damn, for Easter?
yeah,
PlayStation for Easter. Dang.
right?
What Easter, man.
I wholeheartedly, I was spoiled at that point in my life, and as soon as that was like over, I was never spoiled again because it went straight to my head.
They're
But
like, nope, one. That's all you get.
that's
You just
it.
one.
You cheated on Crash Bandicoot. You're never getting a PlayStation again.
You get one magical Easter, and that's all.
Prof was like, imagine getting a fucking PlayStation. But honestly,
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing. Don't worry.
honestly, it's a weird story, but that's basically my entrance into gaming because I really wholeheartedly think I can't think of a moment after that I wasn't fascinated by gaming.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I don't. It's funny. One of our staff, excuse me, is named after a game that I frequently played when I was younger, Blasto. Did you have a PlayStation?
No. See, that's the thing. I didn't have a PlayStation. Oh gosh. So, my first gaming, like anything, was probably a Game Boy Color, which was definitely abused. Like, abused. Man, that thing had been through hell. And then what was it after that? I remember I didn't get a Game Boy Advance. I got the bigger cousin to that one, the Game Boy Advance SP. Do you remember that?
Yep, I
The
remember.
folding one.
Yep.
It was like it literally looks like the Galaxy Z Flip, but Game Boy.
It was super chunky. Yeah.
It was a little chonker, but it was so much smaller than like the Game Boy, and it was so much more portable, and so it was really nice to have. And I remember I had that thing until I left it out on the playground overnight in the rain, and it was gone the next day. Needless to say, I was very careless when it came to like mobile games. But man, thinking back, the real like first thing that got me super into gaming, like those were just kind of passive experiences. For me, it would have been the GameCube. When I was a kid, like I remember saving up change, like pennies and quarters and dimes, and literally rolling them into those paper rolls until I had enough for a GameCube.
Wow. When did you start?
Jeez, man, it was when I was little.
It was very expensive when it was new. Like, it was crazy.
Oh, yeah.
I remember that, like, well, not specifically, but I remember watching it on TV being talked about in the news, and it's like this incredibly innovative new Nintendo product called the GameCube, and they would zoom in on it, and it was like $600. I was like, no, I never pay that.
Yeah, no, it was. I remember it was really expensive, but man, it was so amazing. Like taking it home the night that I bought it was just like this adrenaline rush. And I remember the first game. I didn't account for the cost of a game, and back then it was $60 for a game, and like I'd already rolled pennies to be able to afford the GameCube, and so I think my parents knew that at the time when we went to the store to get the GameCube finally, and so they bought me a game, right? And it was Super Mario Sunshine.
Oh.
And I remember running to my freaking room, setting that thing up, and playing Mario Sunshine for the very first time, and I didn't even have a memory card.
Bro,
I didn't have a memory card, and the system didn't come with a memory card. That was like the biggest thing that I remember about it. Like, it didn't come with a memory card. I probably played the intro sequence to Super Mario Sunshine 40 times. Not even kidding you. I probably played the intro to that game more times than I could count. And it was just because every time I stopped playing it, I would turn my console off and I would start over again. And it never bothered me. Never got old. I remember that game so fondly.
well, it's actually interesting because after the PlayStation, I was able to get the GameCube. I also saved up. I around the same time actually because they were talking about connecting the Game Boy to the GameCube. Did you ever have that as well?
Yes, yes, the Game Boy like Link or whatever it was called. It was like
Yes.
it was a controller adapter that like plugged into the controller port of the GameCube, and it plugged into your Game Boy on that like weird shaped port. I still don't know what that port is. It's like a weird Nintendo proprietary port.
Yes.
It wasn't USB. It wasn't like anything else. It was just this weird type of port that they never used again.
Yeah, well, that's exactly it. It was super funny. I found that the other day, the wire specifically for that, and I was like, wait, what the heck does this go into? And then I found my GameCube, I poked it in. But basically, I was going to say that I recall the time that I really did start gaming, and it was Legend of Zelda, because I got the GameCube, a black GameCube. I'll explain in a second. For some reason, I guess I was able to find an unboxed collector's edition of the GameCube, the black one that came with the Legend of Zelda. The whole first 5 really that went up to Majora's Mask.
Wow.
So I had Zelda 1, Zelda 2, there was a I can't remember the other one, and then Ocarina. I think yes, and then there was sorry. Actually, it wasn't 5 games. It was a Wind Waker demo. That was one of the 5.
Yes.
And then I had the Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask.
Majora's Mask. Okay.
I played the shit out of Majora's Mask. I shit you not, I spent at least 3 days trying to figure out how to get out of the town the first day. First day of Majora's Mask. You've played it. You've played it, right?
So, oh god, you're gonna make me like admit my gaming sins. I have played Majora's Mask and I have played Ocarina of Time. I have not completed either game.
Okay, I'm a little upset with you right now. I don't know who you are anymore, but I understand. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go out. It's actually kind of funny. I was thinking of getting a GameCube again and recording it because Wind Waker is awesome and Ocarina and Majora's Mask are awesome. When I get it, we'll do a stream. Does that sound fun?
Hell yeah.
All right.
We'll do that.
Awesome. I played in and out. I completed both. I know all the secrets. This is why I know that this is the moment that I knew I was a gamer. Because I'm not going to because it's loud and obnoxious, but I could recite every single song in each game.
That's crazy.
They stuck with me. Like, they're just that important to me. Yeah, you could get them behave, but I want the real deal. I don't know how to explain it. I just really want them. I want to be able to have them. I want to collect them. For those listening, we have a chat. It's not being recorded, but we're talking to them.
No, so I have my own version of that same exact thing that you're talking about. That like moment where it like clicked and you were just like super into games forever after that. It was Legend of Zelda. Wind Waker. It was Wind Waker, man.
That's the
Wind
best
Waker
one.
is probably my favorite game ever made. It probably is definitely my favorite game ever made. I've played it more times than I can even count at this point. I've played through it so many times. I know where everything is. I like same exact thing that you just described. I know every song. You know, I know the positions for them, all that stuff. And so for me, like, that game was just so comprehensive. It was so like it was like a book, but you could play it. It was like a it was like a movie that you could take part in, and I played that game probably and just like only that game really dedicated for probably I don't know a year or two.
Yep.
That game just like completely satisfied everything inside of me that I everything that I wanted I could do in that game.
Adventure, aesthetics, like brilliant music, uh, really cool feelings of animation and connection to characters. That's what Wind Waker provided for me as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not putting down Wind Waker. I absolutely am right there and vibing with you when it comes to Wind Waker. The reason that Majora's Mask still sticks with me because it had a, I guess I just have an affinity for grittier things. So Majora's
It was
Mask,
dark.
it was very dark. I felt really connected to every single character that I helped in that game. So that's kind of what in all honesty, what really matters, right? In Wind
Right.
Waker, you have that as well. I really like that. Just Majora's Mask just felt more down to earth to me, but that's where I am. That's my affinity for it. Uh,
Yeah. No, I definitely think that you're right there. Like Majora's Mask had much more like of a real tone to it. It was definitely a lot darker. It was definitely a more down to earth game. Like Wind Waker was very upbeat. Everything about that game was very colorful and bright and happy for the most part.
yeah,
Like there were a couple like twists and turns where it was like, oh gosh, this is dark, but like nothing even close to Majora's Mask and like the overall tone of that game.
yeah, because at this point, Nintendo was making a push to become more, well, I guess, more general when it came to games. More, well, I guess their demographic was just children, younger generations, younger audience. Because
Oh yeah.
I feel like that sort of trope has stuck with them since Wind Waker. Because the N64, all of those games, a lot of them were very dark. I like hell, GoldenEye was on it,
Right. Gold yeah. Oh wow, Goldeneye.
and that wasn't a very clean game, to be honest. But I'm kind of tangenting. When it came to gaming, absolutely. I brought the PlayStation up because that story about finding the game and then just playing it. Jersey Devil still has a part in my heart. I really, that's one of the grittier PlayStation games that really stands out. I don't know if you've ever played it. You should look it up. If you see some
No,
gameplay for it,
yeah, I've never played any of the original like PlayStation games. I remember like a friend or maybe it was a family member of mine that had a PlayStation and I would watch them play, but they were like the kind of person that never lets, the younger kid play. Like
yeah,
so I definitely watched some games being played on like the PlayStation, but I never played them.
that's another thing. The Resident Evil game kind of stand out for me from the original PlayStation.
Do
They
you
weren't
believe that they had that on GameCube?
Resident Evil.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah,
That
yeah.
that's kind of what I'm talking about too, because like GameCube was that I want to say threshold where the well, I mean that top of the hill where Nintendo decided no, we're not doing this kind of thing anymore. I haven't seen them really do that. Like the Wii had some games like Jedi Force Unleashed where you could force choke people and that sort of stuff, but it
Right,
was
right,
never
right, right.
gore. Well, I mean there was one that like a Bushido sort of game that I had, but I think that was one of those indie games that kind of made it onto the Wii that like they didn't really think about. But
Right. They
um,
kind of just got the green light.
exactly. But now you don't really see that in Nintendo.
Yeah. No, I think that they definitely haven't really done anything super dark or serious for a while. Um I mean some people will point out, games like Bayonetta and they'll be like,
Yes.
"Oh, that's more dark. That's like, but I don't know. Like first party Nintendo developer games just generally have been kind of lackluster in the dark like realism kind of department for me. It's
They're
funny
always
that you bring up
comical.
Wii.
Yeah.
It's funny that you bring up the Wii. Oh my gosh, I do remember the Wii. We had a great time with the Wii in my family. Uh,
We
just in general. Yeah. So
we played the
I
Wii.
remember, I remember being a kid and sitting down in the living room with my parents after having seen an advertisement for the Nintendo Wii for the 15th time, and trying to orchestrate with my, inept ability to speak the English language at that point fluently, No, I'm just kidding. I could definitely speak English, but you know what I mean. Like, I didn't have the way to like, I couldn't weave my words the same way that I can now. I had to try to orchestrate in my parents' minds that this system was going to be for us, you know, to bond as a family. Because you know that no one actually bought a Wii intending to use it, you know, as a family, and then ended up actually using it as a family. Like, it was like the family console, but like, you know that little Timmy ended up like playing it way more than everyone else in the family. You know what I mean?
Well, I
So
mean,
I was little Timmy,
you'd always
and
have
so
that one gaming addict, yeah.
right. So I was little Timmy, and so I was like, come on, like I think it would be really fun, and like, you know, we could play together, and they have these like Wii sports games. And I think it'd be really cool, you know, it get us all more active and blah blah blah. And so I convinced them. I convinced them to buy it, and oh god, I played that thing so much. I think that Nintendo Wii went through hell. I remember at one point I even jailbroke it,
Dude.
and
All right.
I mean, it was just there, you know? It was there for like years. I never got a Wii U until like way late into the Wii U's life cycle, and it was after the Wii U had kind of died, and I just bought a bunch of the games that had come out on it that were really good, like Pikmin 3.
Yes.
Um,
That's
but yeah,
actually.
like
Sorry, go ahead. I'll tangent later.
the Wii, I just that was such a good game console, and it did so well for I don't know how bad the Wii U did. It like the Wii was just so good.
Well, it's because, well, in my opinion, really, from an outside perception, and not really being 100% on tech, anyways, the Wii U just kind of felt like a Wii or a glorified Wii with a U on the end, and a lot of what was going on didn't really. I can't think of the correct words, but it didn't feel like anything new or interesting compared to what else was going on at the time.
Huh.
And I think the like main argument against that is probably going to be like, no, it was so cool, it was great. Like, are you kidding? All this cool stuff was on it.
I could play my Wii while I poop
Oh,
because it had a portable screen.
Morty, get the Wii remote. Get the Wii U remote. Quick.
I need you to put the Wii U tablet up your butt, Morty.
Quick. But well, no, like that's just it though, right? Cuz I think I did. I got a Wii U. I had a Wii, and that was only for Skyward Sword, but it turned out that the Wii U was a Skyward Sword. That's the only reason I went out and got it.
Because of the advanced motion controls or whatever it was.
Exactly. Like, they were a little more fluid, a lot smarter, a lot easier to work with.
They came out with it on both systems, and you could buy those stupid. You remember those little nuggets that they made? The little thing. It was like the Wii Motion Plus was what it was called.
Honestly,
and it was like a little. It was a little nugget that like attached to the bottom of your Wii remote, and it made your Wii remote smarter, and it had more like motion sensors.
I honestly had never done that. No, I think I know what you're talking about, but no, I never had it.
Yeah, that's how I played Skyward Sword, because I had a Wii and I never got the Wii U until like I said, super late. So for me, like I played Skyward Sword on the Wii, but I had to have that big chunky like nugget thing attached to the bottom of my Wii remote.
That's why I got the Wii. It was Skyward Sword, but it was also Wii. So Twilight Princess, another Zelda game, of course. It was out on GameCube. I was so excited when it came out. I was like, God, Mom, please. I know that I'm like 15, but I need this game or I die. That's how much I wanted it. I could save up and all this stuff, but no, Mom, get it for my birthday. But it was interesting because the Wii also had it, and I was like, well, the GameCube, I had to sell it, which was really sad. There was a few reasons, but the Wii had Twilight Princess and Skyward Sword, and I'm like, well, I'm gonna get Twilight Princess again. Do you remember it being reversed?
Twilight Princess being reversed?
Yes. On the GameCube, Twilight Princess, everything on the right. On the Wii U,
oh, I heard
everything
about this.
was on the left.
I never experienced it because I never had it on GameCube. My GameCube had since, like, I think I had traded it in or sold it towards my Wii. Like, or towards the Wii, or after I got the Wii, because I never played the GameCube after that, really.
Yeah.
And I never played Twilight Princess on the GameCube. I played it only on the Wii, which I thought was crazy at the time because the motion controls, you like swing the sword, and I was like, oh yeah, I'm like Link, I'm swinging the sword.
Oh yeah.
But in reality, like the sword never follows like where you actually swing, and so you just sit the like by the end of the game, you're literally sitting there barely moving your wrist, just like barely flicking the Wii remote just enough to make the sword move.
Oh, it's Ganon again. Swish,
Oh
swish,
yeah,
and flick.
swish.
I, at that point in time though, because I think, in all honesty, I think we were both around. Well, we were young, like 13 to 15. Like I think you're what?
Yeah.
You're not directly under me, but you're a few years younger than I am. But anyways, yeah, around that time we were dumb and we were young and we were like games, and that stuff was so awesome. But now we look back and we're like, wow, we were stupid. That stuff sucked.
I think, well, yeah, obviously we're spoiled by technology. So like the advancements of technology and in games just over the years has been so much more substantial, even though it hasn't been.
It
Like,
feels,
it's just, it feels like it has been more substantial because it's just a refinement over time, and it has definitely been substantial. But like, think about the difference between the 1980s and the 90s when it comes to games, or think about the difference between the 90s and the 2000s. Like, there was so much innovation there just in gaming technology, and all the advancements have moved from hardware really to mostly software. And so like a lot of it has just been, how do we create, the game worlds, how do the game engines work, how optimized are the, how all of it works.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't seem like it's as big of like a leap forward, but in reality, like on the software side of things, it's ginormous, but like it doesn't seem like it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, we kind of lived through it. We were kind of, what's the word? We were kind of sieved through it. Really, we went through all the new things, and then we're at this point now. Right. You basically just said that, but I said it in the dumbed down version because I am dumb. But the point that I'm trying to make is, yes, I feel like we don't get to I guess really acknowledge the fact that it's such a large jump, because it's just something that happens, and it has been happening in our I want to say environment since we've been young, since this stuff has started, this long journey for innovation and stuff. But it like we've tangent from the original topic, to be honest, which was like how did we even get into this stuff? But like that's really it. Like, we got into it because we're nerds, and
hey, whoa! Speak for yourself.
Well,
Intellectual.
I mean, okay, nerd. Well, it's. I don't know. People put a negative connotation behind nerd. I really like the word nerd and geek. It's just like, yeah, give me a title. I'm smart. I'm a geek. Cool. I'm a nerd. I like things. Great. I'm not offended. But like I don't know. Games have always been as a topic, a genre, all these other things has always been exciting to me. Another game that came to mind thinking about how I really solidified my interest in gaming is Fire Emblem. And that's that. Do you not like Fire Emblem?
It's another game series that I've never touched ever.
Okay, well, you don't really need to know it. So basically you have I guess every map you get to choose a set of characters that come with you into the next level. Your other characters that don't come along don't get experience, but over time they're all going to get very powerful if you know how to build them. Fire Emblem is a strategy game. It's through and through tactics and strategy. If you have a swordsman go against a mage, it's likely the mage will win, just because the mage can attack before the swordsman will reach them. That's the kind of tactic thing. I really liked it. It sit well with how my brain worked. And it also ties into that other thing I mentioned earlier about the reason I like mobile games like Raid. There's so much complexity to Raid that you have to think about it. So Fire Emblem is one of those games that's like, wow, gaming offers this type of thing to me. I do not want to stop. You know? And It's like, I guess, kind of why I got burnt out of a game like Rocket League, which is kind of the same thing over and over, but there's a skill cap to it, and you just get better and better, and it's still tactics, and it hits. It's one of those games that just kind of hit right where you need it to be as a gamer. If I can,
Right.
if I can, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but honestly, that's how I feel about it.
For me, I don't know. Rocket League specifically for me was like always one of those games where like no matter what, the feedback loop that the game creates is always satisfying for me. I never really get tired of like getting better at the game or like winning. And that's probably a toxic mindset to have.
No, that's pretty healthy. That's pretty
Like
normal.
no, I just like winning like a lot.
Winning.
So for me, it was like, well, if I'm not getting better and I'm not winning, then what's the point of playing this game?
Well, yeah. For me, I guess I kind of escaped that, which is by trading. A lot of my this is pretty funny. You guys are in GC. I could argue that you're higher than GC, like compared to me. I am hitting GC now, but that's mainly because a lot of what I did in Rocket League was trade. So right. I sat in the lobby a lot. I'll have 4K hours in Rocket League, but in all honesty, 3K of them was lobbying.
Right.
But competitive wise, I don't know. I never felt the same way about that. It's just like everything that's offered in it just kind of sits nicely. This kind of segues into the next topic, really, because we have about 10 minutes left. What did you start with when you did trading? And don't say, well, I got scammed. So in all honesty,
how did you know where I was gonna go? God damn it.
Well, what did you start with, to be honest?
Oh man. Oh gosh.
Okay, well, I'll give you
so long.
I'll give you time to think about it, and
okay.
I'll go with that because I wasn't sure if you'd know or not. But I know specifically what I started with because I'm so damn proud of it. Alpha Boost says Nate. I started with a purple derby. Okay, back when toppers were kind of still interesting to people, pros hadn't really been. Well, I don't want to say established, but weren't really prominent. People didn't really care at that point. They're just like, my car looks cool, sweet, it has a top hat and derby, that's great. I like the color purple. Here's like, I'm gonna give you one key for this purple derby. That one key became 15 keys in a week. That 15 key became a hexed, which was worth 45 keys. That turned into a white Zomba, which came to 200 keys, and blah blah blah. Eventually I got an alpha set within the first year of playing Rocket League. So that's where my work went into when playing this game. That's kind of why I got into lobby sitting a lot. And the competitive stuff happened after I got the set. But have you figured out where you started?
Oh god. So for me it was really complicated, right? Because I started playing the game. I started with just playing the game and liking Rocket League as a game.
Yeah.
So for me, like, I was just trading casually. And so I think the first real item that I latched onto wanting was like white Zombas back in the day.
Yep.
And I remembered that I had some items and I traded my way up to Crimson Voltaics, which were lightnings back then. They were called Crimson Lightnings. And those things were so valuable. They were like super valuable in the Rocket League community. They were probably one of the most valuable items at the time. I think they were like $55.
Both,
which was just like way high.
Sorry, both the I remember specifically because the Voltaics were up there with White Zomba in popularity. There was the two top contenders.
Yeah, this was before the whole community shifted to wanting white items rather than red items. Because before that, Crimson items ruled everything. Crimson was the way to go. It was like, black and red, gamer colors, whatever.
Yeah.
But Crimson was like the thing, so everyone wanted Crimson items. So that said, Crimson Lightnings were super rare and valuable, and so I got my hands on a pair of them by trading up. And funny enough, I did get scammed. So I got color swapped I was gonna trade them for white zombies. The guy joined the lobby. He had white zombies on his car, and I could tell that they were white because they looked different from the gray, obviously.
Yeah.
And he put white, or he straight up just put gray in the trade window, and I just didn't check. It was just completely on me, 100%. There was no excuse for it. I was just dumb and overexcited. Because I was like, oh yeah, this is such a good trade. I'm trading like a $55 item for like a $60, $78 item. So I was like, yes, I'm making my way up.
It's interesting that you call yourself dumb, and like this is a moderator me coming out, so I'm sorry if I get a little too much. It's like back then, this scamming type thing, it was really just starting. Like this includes CS:GO. Like there's been scamming stuff in games for a while. If you have an online thing like TF2, for example, it was trading before Rocket League was even a thing. So, well, very close before Rocket League. But anyways, so a color swap isn't in your mind. A scam isn't in your mind. And now we're online 5 years later and we're always worried about it. That's how bad it got, right?
Oh, yeah.
So it's like, maybe I'm wrong in this aspect. I wouldn't call you dumb. I think...
Right. For me personally, I was just like, God, what an idiot. Like, I'm so stupid. But, like, no, in reality, like, I wasn't actually dumb. I just didn't know any better.
Yeah, and the guy was
just
like
dick. Anyone, just like anyone that doesn't know any better. It's not that they're dumb or stupid or whatever, but
naivety and being excited.
Yeah, they just don't know. And so I was excited. I was way too eager, and I rushed into it and didn't check, and so I got scammed. It's whatever. I'm over it. I've been over it for a long time.
Yeah, but
I remember at the time I was in a voice chat on Discord with my friends, and a bunch of my friends added this guy and like harassed the hell out of him to try to get my item back, and it didn't work.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. One of my friends tried to pull the whole, my dad works at Steam. I'm gonna get your account banned. Like it was so bad. Oh man. But no, that's how it led me to Trade Central, because I remember I kept trading, and someone invited me shortly after, and shoot, from there it got out of hand. Within my first like 10 trades, I had already bought like an alpha cap and an alpha boost, and I was trying to trade for profit.
Because I don't know, this is probably gonna sound really weird. Because I really didn't believe in injecting money into buying items, I wanted to feel like I had reached a level by trading. Did you put money into trading? And this isn't to belittle you at all. I'm just curious, like how you would approach that.
Oh God, unfortunately, I did.
See, I
did put money in. I'm trying to remember how specifically I did my first alpha boost trade. I'm pretty sure. This was super scuffed back in the day.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was a prepaid Visa card that I bought from GameStop.
Nice.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm pretty sure that's how I bought it. Like, I bought the prepaid Visa card from GameStop, and I'm pretty sure that was it.
Prepaid $100. What level? That's really nuts, to be honest.
Yeah.
That's just thinking sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
It's fine.
It's comparing the price now to what Boost is and what it was. Like, people don't believe me when I say that I bought a full set at 600 keys.
That's nuts. But no, it was, I want to say it was $500, $600.
That's not too bad. You actually made a decent bank. Like, holy shit. Did you sell it right away or later?
I wish I had made decent bank. I found out shortly after that I really am not the kind of person to trade for profit. Because if an item drops, I just like panic. I panic sold. And I like took a loss of, I think, like $150 off that alpha boost.
Oh no, man. Oh,
so
no.
yeah, so it was bad. It was really bad. And then, oh god, it happened again after that too. Like, I bought another alpha boost and a set of alpha wheels.
Yeah. And
ended up taking, I think, like $100 or $200 loss on those too, because the same thing had happened.
Well, this is
so after that, I kind of swore off buying like expensive items.
Okay. Okay. This makes me think of when joining TC in the first place. We also have 2 minutes left, so I guess we'll try and conclude with this. Sorry, but if you had joined the market discussion back then, I would have told you don't sell it. Uh, I didn't really think it would get to the price it is at this time, but I knew that any drop that came would result in a rise, and the only reason it dropped is because someone had bought 6 of them and held on to them and didn't post them, so they just disappeared. Or sorry,
Right.
oh my god, they disappeared, and then the price went up because the demand was gone or was there. Right, my brain is dying.
Right.
I'm tired.
And then they dropped all 6 of them at the same time,
Exactly.
and the price would go back down. Yeah.
Exactly. So it's like that person just had a control over that particular market for the longest time. I don't think that person still has them. I'm pretty sure we can both guess who they were, but anyways, they're no longer holding items. But anyways,
Yeah.
we won't really be able to talk about our fourth topic because we're out of time. But I had a lot of fun with this.
That's for next time.
Is there anything you want to
There
say
is a
while
next
we?
time. Dun dun dun.
I know I saw you joining, Ren. I apologize, but Ren, we've
Oh
recorded
no.
it. We've been recording it, so I'll send it to you. Is there anything you
Yeah,
want to
well,
say to end this, Morty?
no. Just thank you for joining us, guys. If you have feedback, things like that, we're always down to try to improve things. So, like I said, this is kind of just our first dry run. We really didn't have like too much of a crazy form factor or roadmap for how we wanted this to go. So, if there are things that you think that we could improve on or learn from this, please do feel free to let us know.
And with that, I will end the recording.